Hey Dad, I'm gonna go step out to the rose garden. I just want to clear my head a bit before the wedding starts.
You know, rumor has it, people go missing in that rose garden.
Yeah, right. You know that's just an old wives' tale. I'll be back. Hey guys, so welcome to my NYX Cosmetics Face Awards 2019 entry. So we're just going to jump right into things. I'm going to start by blocking out my brows. So I'm going to be using a glue stick to do this. And then we're going to use some translucent powder to set the glue. Okay, and now I'm taking a lipstick that has a red undertone to cover up the brows. This is going to help block the brows out a little bit better. Okay, so now I'm going back over that with some foundation. This is going to help block the brows out even more. So you're going to see me repeat these steps besides the lipstick step until I feel good about my brows. And now I'm starting with the vines on the one half of my face that is the Rose Queen. So I am just kind of, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm going along with, I have a skeleton picture up as reference to just kind of keep the shape of what a skeleton would look like as I'm creating the vines. And now I'm moving on to the neck and the chest as well, and I'm keeping that kind of like vine twisty thing going. And yeah, so I'm just continuing to move down and kind of create this skull. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the rib cage. So this is a bit tricky to get it to look kind of three-dimensional, but and I apologize for the camera angle as well. It ends up moving further on into the tutorial, so just stay with me. But yeah, so I'm just working on the rib cage right now. And right now you see me taking a makeup wipe and I'm wiping away some of the lines I feel like don't add into the illusion of the rib cage. And now I'm moving on to the arms and we're still keeping up with that theme, the twisty vines. Yeah. Now I'm going in and adding a little more detail to all the vines. As you know, roses have thorns, so I'm going through and kind of adding some thorns all throughout, and you'll see me do this on my face, my neck, the chest, the arms, everywhere. Okay, so now we are moving on to the rose, and I'm looking at a picture for reference right now. I'm kind of just drawing a bunch of half circles and kind of making them bigger as I go along until I get the shape and I'm satisfied with the rose. Okay, so now we're moving on to the regular skeleton side. So I'm starting off with the teeth, and I'm just kind of mapping them out and placing them down where I feel like they would look good. Okay, and now we're moving on to the face, and I'm just kind of mapping out where I want the white areas to go and where I want the black areas to go. Okay, so now we're moving on to the sternum and chest of the regular skeleton side. So I start off with the sternum and then move on to the collarbone, and then we start with the rib cage. So I'm trying to keep the rib cages very symmetrical on each side. So the illusion of the rib cage, the lines that go into the back where you almost keep them going behind the other ones is really what's going to play into the illusion that it's 3D. And you're going to see this happen a couple times where I take a makeup wipe and I just remove it and I keep going until I get that shape I really, really want. Sometimes it doesn't turn out the first time, but yeah, I just got to keep working with it, so that's what I did. So now we're moving on to the arm. So we're just kind of making like if you envisioned a skeleton and what underneath would look like. So basically we're just drawing out that arm bone. And now I'm going through and adding some leaves to the rose, and I'm also going to end up adding them around everywhere else throughout the vine side. But yeah, so I'm just adding some leaves to the rose because what's a rose without leaves? Okay, so now we're on to the regular skeleton side. So I'm filling in all the areas that are exposed with white. There's a couple that I'm leaving because I know that they're going to be black, which is the eye and then that little cheek part. So I'm just filling everything in white. Okay, so now I'm going in and adding a little more detail to all the leaves. I want them to have more depth. So I'm just going in, adding some shadowing, some highlights, just to make them look a little more realistic. Now I'm taking a light green face paint and I'm adding it to the beginning of the rib cage and also to the end there, just to kind of give it a highlight and add a little more dimension to the look. Okay, so now I'm adding circles to the ends of the teeth on the vine side. This is going to make it three-dimensional and it's going to make them look like they're rose stalks. Because when you see a stalk of a rose, it's very thick at the end, so I'm trying to make that illusion come to life. Okay, so now I'm taking a black face paint and a small detailer brush and I'm going in between each teeth and making a black line so that it pops and that they're a little more defined. I'm also going to outline around the teeth themselves. Okay, so now we're moving on to the neck bone of the regular skeleton side. So I'm just going to draw the different neck bones. I'm actually looking at a skeleton picture for reference for this one. So I'm just mapping it out and drawing it and trying to make it even with the skeleton side. Okay, so now I'm taking the vines and kind of making them intertwine with the other side. I kind of want to make them two working pieces, so I want to make them come together. Okay, so now I'm taking a black face paint and I'm filling in all the areas that are exposed, and yeah, this is gonna make the illusion really come to life. Okay, so now I'm going in with a black eyeshadow and just adding some shading onto the skeleton side. It's looking very flat right now, so I'm just going to go around and kind of add this black shadow everywhere and just make it look a little more realistic. Okay, so now I'm adding some lines to add even more detail, and I'm going to go in and add some cracks onto the skull side because the skull is not perfect in any way. So I kind of want to add some abrasions and things like that to just kind of make it more skeleton-like. Okay, so now I'm taking that black shadow and I'm taking it down the sternum and onto the ribcage and the shoulder and arm bone as well. And also when I add it onto the ribcage, when I add it onto those lines that are supposed to be going behind the other rib cages, this is going to help play into the illusion that they are actually behind the other rib cages. I'm just kind of trying to make everything uniform and adding that black shadow everywhere. Okay, so now I'm just taking a black face paint and I decided to go back and add it around the rose and where all that white area is. It also helped make it pop a little bit more, so I'm glad I went back and did this. And now I'm taking a white face paint and adding some highlight to the rose. And that's the end of this tutorial. So there you have it, the bride that went missing in the rose garden and came back as the dead rose queen.